It is time for the visuals. Yes, I know that Volume 2 of Stories from STYX has released, but I figure it's only fair that I go back and see all the beautiful visuals for the first volume of Stories from STYX. Whatever beautiful art has been commissioned, I'm very excited. I don't know who the artists are. I don't know what style we're going for. It's going to be delightful. And then we will move on to the first listen of Volume 2 from Stories from STYX, which I know nothing about other than there is a Tantalus song? I think it's Tantalus. I don't quite remember, but as usual I keep myself reasonably in the dark so I can go in and just be delightfully surprised. But I am very excited to see the visuals. I mean, honestly, perhaps it was because it was an anthology album or just how it was written. I didn't have a problem not having any visuals. I felt like the lyrics and the music told whatever story each song was telling quite well, but I think it'll just be fun to see visuals. And whatever designs, because I believe all of these visuals I'm going to see are official visuals, as they are being hosted on the Stories from STYX YouTube, the official playlist. So we're going all the way back to Titanomachy, or as I usually say, Titanomachia, because it's just closer to a transliterated version of the Greek. Same difference. So let's go.
Out of all the Greek gods, Hades may carry the burden of every soul to ever...
Okay. Art by Elian Z. Zis? Elian Zis? Elian Z? I guess, I don't know. I can be told how to pronounce it. Somebody can tell me. Okay, so this immediately just coming in, zooming in on the muse. I mean, she looking fabulous. She looking kind of muscled. She's looking filled out. I appreciate that. It reminds me of this style with also the captions down here. This reminds me of, okay, proving how little I play games, video games. What are they like? They're not animated storybooks, though it does sort of remind me of those. But those games that are very narrative driven and it's like a character pops on screen and then like what they're saying comes in text. This feels very like that. I don't know if that's purposeful, but that's the vibe I got. And given this muse is just sort of a narrator here, I think that kind of fits. Also love her spotlight. I see some particles going on here. The rim, that beautiful rim lighting. I mean, that rim light, especially over there on the feather boa or the shawl, whatever that's supposed to be. I see you.
Passed through the underworld, but also the burden of misconception. Ironic, a god of this caliber thriving underneath our feet. Hades sees life for the first time when his father Cronus spits up the king of the underworld, along with Poseidon.
Oh wait,
Hera,
I'm getting all of them.
And Hestia, led by Zeus.
Okay, so the initial 5, Cronades, the 6th being Zeus, obviously. First off, I see you with that font choice. I see that font choice. I love the color schemes. I love how everybody is done in a profile. They're very pretty, very pretty. Demeter just looks so pissed off, which I guess is sort of a hint to what's going to be happening later. I see Hades as a slutty little earring. I see his slutty little earring. Poseidon, where's your beard? Hades at least has some scruff. Poseidon, where is your beard? We all know these men need beards. Just because. It's the aesthetic.
A revolution.
Hey, Zeus got a beard?
It's like I'm born
Jules Sunart, I love your title cards.
Brother reaches out, a lifelong friend. He tells us
we must stand united while we suffer, take for granted.
The Titans are the sorrow we must
Okay. Queen of the Pirates, great name.
Her destiny still ours to claim. Don't live in
I love these backgrounds. I don't know if these are stock images or something else. Hey look, a well-placed Gaussian blurred background can do a lot.
Before we witness moonlight, we are thrown into a fire. What's the point of fighting if we face eternal night?
I love that.
that your birth is bathed in blood, but I will drown these brutes with a flood. Exclaim and reclaim the
I forgot this is the Raven the Club fight.
We will be known, gods on the throne, brothers and sisters never to die. So please stand with me now.
Okay.
And claim our father's final goodbye.
Oh! Neil! You all hid from me? That Neil did art here? I feel a little betrayed. But I'm also incredibly impressed that no one tipped me off to this. Not a single fucking person tipped me off that Neil did art for stories from STYX. Oh god, I'm in trouble, aren't I? I should have been sitting down! I'm gonna back up. I need to start that. I was too shooketh.
Claim our father's final goodbye.
Woo! Who's got glasses? Who had glasses on? Somebody had glasses. Interesting. I mean, it is admittedly almost wild to see these designs for the characters, where I got so used to Neil's designs via Epic, which I think are pretty much the same as the ones she does for her Famtheon designs. And these are obviously very different. I mean, Hades and Demeter, there's a bunch of characters who don't even feature in Epic. But the look of Epic Zeus was very... it was distinct. So was Hera and all these, and the few others who appeared. These are all very distinct and different. But you know what? I think that works. I mean, obviously, it's a completely different project. The designs are going to be different. Completely understandable. Yeah! Oh? Oh no. Neil, no! No, Neil, you didn't! Oh no! Neil, I have to slightly lecture. Okay, so do we see the hourglass? It's purple. I mean, I love that shade of purple. It's a beautiful shade of purple. Okay. People will often see the spelling of Kronos. And this is where you get to have the fun part of lots of similar or identical names in Greek mythology. Trust me. There's a lot of them. Oftentimes, because a lot of these names have very specific meanings, and as much as there's a good deal of naming being a little bit, we say chicken and the egg, we're not really sure, did the story come first or the name come later? In a lot of cases, we do believe there was a story, and in some cases, names were added later, so like, there's a lot of significant naming going on. Cronus. There is, and often spelled Kronos, is not the same as Kronos, who is the god of time, or the personification of time. That is not the father of the Olympians. That is not the Titan. They are not the same god. It's something that I see people, especially people who love Greek mythology, don't go too deep into study or whatever. Like, it's a very common mistake I see made because of the spellings, I think. They're really similar. This is not the same god. Cronus, the father of the Olympians, who's a Titan, was a harvest god. He's not the god of time. So Neil, I have to slightly lecture you for that one, because I see the impulse, I see why, but they're not the same god. Again, this is a really common mistake that I see. Look very similar in terms of spelling, sound almost identical in terms of saying, especially if you get way more transliteral.
Not the same god.
I do like that he's huge, though. I also love that I see Poseidon already got his trumpet. Oh my god, brain. Look, I know you drove for 11 hours, but wake up. His trident, yes, he would have that, because obviously Zeus promised to release who are known as the Uranian Cyclopes, the original 3 Cyclopes, who are children of Gaia and Ouranos, who Cronus was supposed to let free from Tartarus. It was sort of a deal, a promise he made to Mother Earth, to Gaia, and then he kind of reneged on that, and then she was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Zeus came through on that end of the deal. He was like, absolutely. And sure enough, they forged these great weapons for the gods. Like the weapons of the Cronades specifically, they forged the lightning bolts. Hades has a helm or a cap, it's sometimes called, that gives him invisibility. I believe that is said to be made by them. And then also Poseidon's trident, notably made by them. But again, as always, now, let's talk eyeline. shoot, this beautiful triangle. We're leading our eye up to here. Also the perspective, you can see on how that hand is way more in the foreground. You have foreshortening of the arm as a result, but also then this looks even smaller because it's so far in the background, which gives you such a, again, a sense of scale and scope. And I just, Neil, you've always been good about this. I love the way you bring scale into it and how clear it is of just like how large some of these characters are in comparison to others. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, so Hades is green. Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Look at the girlies getting in. We gave Poseidon slutty little glasses. Look, I am gonna tease about the glasses because why is he wearing glasses? I do tend to be a little more forgiving of god designs having like modern influences. I think because I just go, they're the gods. They're immortal. Like I can see them existing outside of time and space, whatever. And while there were certainly way past this point, I mean, we're talking the cosmogony. We're talking creation of the universe kind of old at this point for where the Greeks saw this happening in the timeline. Much later on, I think you start getting into the classical era, maybe into the post-classical, so like Hellenistic, Roman Empire phase. They would start trying to polish certain rocks to sort of like try and look through things. Like it was understood people might have difficulty seeing shit, but I mean, they didn't have glasses the way we think of them. But Poseidon with slutty little glasses and short hair. I was so unprepared for all of this. But also it's so dynamic. Also, again, love the girlies getting in on it. Love we're seeing the women doing battle as well. Ooh. Okay. Was that a little bit of his beard that I usually know? Oh, it's like an early beard. I see it. I see the points.
So blinded by the moon, we forget
This
about
Ardensia.
the stars.
That's beautiful.
We're in a prison before
Let me tell you something I really like about this, and this is like color contrast. It's very, very muted. Even the skin tone is very muted. It's not hypersaturated. Then you have these bright glints of light off these little earrings he's got, and they're red, and it stands out against all the cool tones that are in there. It's very gorgeous. And that background is stunning. Yeah, I see all the other gods in there. It's just, this is a gorgeous image. I see why it was set, I believe, as the thumbnail.
the bars, who would rule over the skies, over the seas, over the land below, and who would be the one to tell us what to do and where to go?
The divine birthright obligated them to split the cosmos amongst themselves.
Ooh, Simoon. I love images like these. These make me happy. Oh, and I love in the middle, there's a figure here in this crack. I'm assuming you want that to be Cronus chained up. Here's the interesting thing about Cronus. Now, it is that he, along with the other Titans who basically are part of the Titanomachy, who don't side with the Olympians, thrown in Tartarus. But there's a lot of literature, and what sort of happens to Cronus is left a little per usual, depending on who you read. He is always down in the underworld. Like, that's it. He's never coming back out of the underworld. But either he's kind of holding court sort of in Tartarus, or one of the more common things is that he then essentially gets to rule over the Elysian fields, Elysium. Sometimes translated as Isles of the Blessed, which I think is just a very strange translation. It feels too Arthurian. So at the end of the day, his power is extremely diminished. He's defeated. He's no longer the head honcho. He's not the big kahuna. He's not the guy in charge. He's been put down in the underworld, and even then he's essentially subservient to Hades. Hades and he don't really seem to interact down there. Again, if whether or not he's in Tartarus, which I mean, there ain't nobody really going down there unless you have to be, or if he's ruling, in the Elysian fields, either way, I mean, like, his reign is kaput. He's done. But I like the idea of having him being this sort of fissure where all of the power previously was contained within one god, essentially, like all that domain. It's split a little more, we'll say, air quotes, equal, because the thing is that Zeus ultimately is the head honcho. He's the guy in charge. He's king of the gods. Now, he will accept that he does not have domain over the sea. He does not have domain over the underworld. Like, again, Poseidon and Hades really do get those as their domains. But at the end of the day, you still kind of got to clear everything with Zeus reasonably, right? And again, I love these. It is also a nugget. I mean, I get that they're younger. So I shouldn't complain too much about the beards because they're younger. This is the very beginning of their reign. But I love seeing all these different designs for them. It's very cool. Very neat. And I love how one video here has so many different artists bringing in either moments of animation like Neil did, or they are still images. And I think it's being used really effectively.
3 sons of Cronus would have their territory decided by the fates.
The burden of leadership, I will gladly accept it.
The strength of the oceans, I will gladly accept it.
The might
I
of
realized
the world.
I also didn't nitpick this. This is such a nitpick. When I tell you I'm about to nitpick a word choice, I am nitpicking a word choice, and it really doesn't bother me, but it's just kind of a cool, we'll say, fun fact. They would have said Dominion of the Seas, very specifically, because the only idea they had of the ocean, at least if we go this far back, we're talking the Archaic Age, like right post Dark Ages, so Hesiod and Homer. You have Okeanos. Okeanos is essentially what we now scholars believe was what they thought the Atlantic was. Basically, they thought it was a massive river that encircled the world. So the idea of the ocean, something that was bigger than the sea, kind of, you just had Okeanos, and on the other side of that, you kind of found your way to the underworld. Like, there was nothing really beyond that. They didn't know what was beyond that. So he would have had Dominion of the Seas, because they could understand the Aegean, the Mediterranean. Like, the idea of the sea was something they could comprehend. The idea of the ocean to them was Okeanos, which terrified the shit out of them. Which is why in the Odyssey, Odysseus has to basically cross Okeanos to get to kind of the front porch of the underworld and basically ring the bell and go like, hello, anybody there? So yeah, it's really not an issue. It's just kind of a fun fact, and where these sort of semantics get really interesting, because you realize that, like, oh, they would have said sea very specifically because the idea of the ocean sort of didn't exist, and to them it was the Okeanos, and like very early Greeks. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling.
I will gladly accept it.
The times of the Titans are over, and a new era begins with the Olympians.
Great image. Ooh. Hold on, sorry, I'm zooming in to look. I'm just loving the interior of the cloak here. Look at that ombre. I'm assuming that is Hera. Only because, so actually no, maybe not. I think it is. I think that's Hera, because I think this is supposed to be Hestia. And I'm assuming that's supposed to be Demeter. I'm thinking. I don't know. I just saw that. I mean, look, this is all very cool time. And to see that little pop of orange and pink, I'm like, ooh, what that? It's very pretty. It's very pretty. Also, Zeus and Poseidon look like good man salutes. Basically bare chest, short skirts. Nice. Nice. Ooh! Oh, the light changing in the background. This is beautiful, these colors. This background is gorgeous. It may look simple, but it's beautiful. The colors give me happy feelings. Oh! Those were delightful visuals. Delightful, beautiful. I kind of didn't know what to expect. I was like, is this going to be fully animated? I mean, as fully animated, like a full animatic? Was it going to be a full animation? Is it just going to be mostly still frames? It was a really nice combination of both. I think it's smart that the most, we'll say, animated version was absolutely where they're fighting Cronus. That makes sense. It's, you know, it's we're raving in the club music. This is where the action is. And Neil, it was so dynamic. It was so beautiful. Obviously, I have to yell about the Cronus thing, even if it is a really kind of a common mistake that I see all over the place. They're not the same. God. But that was fun. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm so then curious to know what the look is gonna be for the later songs, because it does seem there's an loose version of period going on here, like in my head, I think of songs like In the Underworld now, and I'm imagining them all in like the suits and the hats and everything, and I'll be like, well, that wouldn't make sense given we seem to be giving everybody a look at least of sort of archaic or classical, right? There is a look of sort of time period happening. So, I'm going to be so curious for the visuals of that, and then even more for the underworld. I mean, because this is above ground, so that's fine. Although I love that bit of seeing Cronus kind of in the middle of the fissure between the three brothers whenever they get their dominions. I thought that was a nice little detail.